Hello, I'm Valentina,
And I'm Daniela.
and today we are going to compare prisons in Norway and prisons in Colombia.
Okay, to begin with, we're going to talk about the overall conditions in both places. So, in Norway, they have one of the best prison systems of the world. They have certainly one of the more humane ones. They believe that during the serving of the sentence, life inside should resemble life outside as much as possible, and so that the prisoners can feel a sense of normality and they don't lose their minds. Uh, and that the punishment is the restriction of liberty. It shouldn't affect their other rights. So they can vote, they can have education, and they have a job inside. And they also don't believe in death penalty. The longest sentence they have is of 21 years, depending on the case. If it's like a terrorist or something like that, they add 5 years every 5 years, so that they can spend more time in prison. They also, some prisons have one room for each prisoner, so they feel a bit more normal. Okay, and in Colombia we have the complete opposite of that prison system. We have a 53% overcrowding rate. There's sometimes not even enough space for people to walk and less for them to sleep. They sometimes don't have drinkable water for days. And we still have the death penalty, and there's a lot of people inside, and we don't have any reform to stop that from happening and to lower those numbers, because people also don't like that they don't give out prison time for some crimes. And we also have a lot of corruption within the prison system, so they have a lot of contracts, I don't know where. So yeah.
So now about the infrastructure, Norwegian prisons attempt to mimic the outside world as much as possible to prepare inmates for freedom. So they have en-suite bathrooms and even flat-screen TVs. Officials say that these things leave less space to hide things such as drugs or such as weapons or whatever. Prisoners have ample access to windows that look out onto the nearby trees and grass. There are also numerous art pieces and installations throughout the prison, bringing a little life and color into the otherwise grey prison world. The facilities are also an amazing architectural achievement, and it is a completely new way of looking at prisons. The best two examples are Bastoy, that is a low security prison located in an island with few guards and no weapons. They have the chance of leaving to the mainland to take classes, and this prison is also self-sufficient. And the second example is Halden, that is a high security prison with a higher level of security that has limited access to weapons, and prisoners are able to use different rooms like music studio, library, and more. On the other hand, prisons in Colombia are buildings that were suitable as detention center. This prison doesn't have sufficient water, electrical, and sanitary networks. The facilities are completely deteriorated, and the repairs have been carried out with inadequate and improvised materials by the inmates themselves. In addition to the few networks that still remain from the original construction, have been exposed to vandalism that is frequently in these spaces. Also, prisons have narrow single beds which are located on top of each other. and there is also not enough room for prisoners to walk freely or to have some air. And in that small places, we can see a big overcrowding.
Now with the coronavirus, in Norway there have been 9 cases within inmates, 6 of them in Bastøy and 3 of them doing community service. Within the whole prison system there have been 19 cases, 2 of them have already recovered. We have taken some measures to avoid the spreading of the virus. One of them is suspending every visit, unless there is an emergency. Maybe the lawyers can get in and they still have to respect the social distancing. They have also implemented early releases. That means that if the prisoner is vulnerable to getting the virus, or if they have a short sentence or they're going to get out of jail in these couple months, they can get out before. This helps the prisoners getting a single room for themselves. That way they can respect the social distancing measures of the quarantine. And they have electronic control over the inmates who are now out. Because of the early release, they can check alcohol consumption within distance. They have video calling, and they check on their inmates a lot. Okay, and on the other hand, we have Colombia with 884 coronavirus cases in prisons. 3 of them have died. This is mostly because of the overcrowding issue. They don't have space for them to social distance or to keep safe from the virus. They also sometimes don't even have water to wash their hands. But the government has tried to take some measures to better the situation, like the suspension of every visit. They don't have any visits in the prisons. They have recently implemented video calling for the prisoners so they can talk to their families, to their lawyers, and all that through internet. And they have also implemented a ward that allows the prisoners to have all the elements necessary to get through the sanitary crisis, and that guarantees that they have water 24/7, which they should have had before. And yeah, they have also implemented the early release. People over 60, pregnant women, and people with chronic disease. Around 4,000 to 15,000 people will benefit from these early releases.
Now about recidivism and after prison. In Norway, an independent study published in 2010 showed that the number of people who were released from prison and reopened within 2 years was at 20%. In Norway, in accordance with the principle of normality, progression through a sentence should be aimed at returning to the community. The more institutionalized a system is, the harder it will be to return to freedom. Therefore, one will proceed towards release gradually from high security prisons to lower security prisons, through halfway houses, and finally execution of the sentence outside of prisons unless security reasons dictated otherwise. Probation is simulated, and the correctional services will try to arrange for a process where serving the sentence is adjusted to individual risk, needs, and resources, unless security reasons predict otherwise. In Colombia, the National Penitentiary and Prison Institute, INPEC, revealed that recidivism in the country continues increasing, and in the last 7 years, the reoffenders has grown more than 110%. So, INPEC point out that to avoid issues such as recidivism in crimes, the penitentiary centers have programs and activities in the industrial, artisanal, agricultural, and administrative services areas aimed at prisoners in order to project their resocialization. According to IMPEC, last year the 79.8% of the inmates participated in work and education programs, and some of them even work as instructors in some disciplines. Now, about the revitalization prisons in... Es que prisons.